Well, welcome back to one of my walk and talk videos. I am Kathy, and this is my channel, Kathy's Midlife. For those of you who are new to the channel, that's where I live, back there. And I used to live here, in this house. But, I don't know, the neighborhood just got too small. The world started getting too small. So we moved out here. We've been doing a lot while we've been out here. Actually, people might say Carter has been doing a lot since we've been out here. And this video is all about that subject. But first, I had a subscriber say, you gotta keep on going up those micro hills. Good exercise. And I don't know if she was calling me fat, maybe just completely out of shape. Maybe she heard me so gassed from that last walk up the hill, that last video, that she's like, girl, that little hill, you got to keep on going, okay? And then you'll be able to run up them. So we're going straight, not curving with the road, straight up the hill. She calls it a micro hill. To me, when you're on that micro hill, it is a mountain, Let's get to it, shall we? Let's go. This is a little bit of a get to know me, get to know Carter kind of video. To know who we were will tell you who we are today. So Carter and I got married in 1998, June of 1998. I might be wrong on that because I don't hold on to dates, years, anniversaries, birthdays. You know, this is our 28th Christmas together. I don't hang on to any of that. Some people like that stuff, but I don't. That's why, I don't know. If you asked me how old somebody is, I would never be able to tell you. I could be your best friend in that regard. I'm never going to sit there and be like, happy 69th birthday, you old fart. I'll probably be like, happy birthday. That's it. I don't like being reminded of my own age, but anyway. When Carter and I were engaged, I worked at Farmers Insurance. I was the one who answered the phone and scheduled appointments. I wrote down claim information and I wrote up new policies for car insurance, not for mortgage. We had somebody who did that. And when we were engaged, I told Carter that, I do want to have kids one day. And I felt it was important to let him know that I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. I come from a traditional upbringing where my dad worked and my mom stayed home and she took care of the house. And she took care of the kids and everything that went along with that too, the grocery shopping, the house cleaning, the sicknesses and all of that. We lived kind of rurally, and we only had one car growing up. So that made it hard. My dad would take us to the dentist on the way to school because we went to school in town, which was 30 minutes away. So anyway, I grew up in a traditional household with my mom there who cooked dinner and my dad who went to work. And that is the life that I wanted as well. I wanted a traditional life. So I quit my job when we got married so that we can start to learn to live within one income one salary, and it was hard. Carter didn't make a lot of money, you know. I mean, it's the same today. All these kids saying it's so hard, you know, you need $2,000 to live. I don't know how much has changed. I mean, I think the minimum wage back then was like $7.50 an hour. You can Google 1998 minimum wage, New Mexico. And it was low, and our rent was, I think, maybe it was just $600. I want to say it was $800, but I think maybe it was $600 for a 1-bedroom, 1-bath apartment, which is low. I mean, I think the rent is double that now for a 1-bedroom, 1-bath apartment. But our wages were low, and we took a hit by saying, Kathy, it's not going to work. We're going to learn to live on one income. So I took over the responsibilities of doing the laundry, cleaning the house, planning all of our meals. Here's the micro hill. Okay, so maybe it is a micro hill, but I tell you, when you're getting on this thing, it's steep towards the top. I'm gonna try not to cry about it and complain, and I'm not even gonna try to take the path less traveled. No, more traveled. I don't know. So anyway, I don't know if Carter was prepared to have, you know, this traditional, in a sense, wife. You know, it's like, I really don't know what he expected, but, you know, I mean, he handled it all with grace. And I can tell you what, in the 20 some odd years that we've been married, look how steep that is. Gosh, in the 20 some odd years that we've been married, I don't think he has had to clean a toilet. The only time he's ever had to do laundry is if I asked for help, like folding sheets and blankets. And he has helped me make our bed before. That wasn't that bad. That wasn't that bad. Let's see where we came from here. Whew, that's a beautiful view, huh? So all the way down there, I'll zoom in as much as I can. There's this little, see it? Little area right there. Well, anyway, I think that's where the rooster is. Every morning I hear a rooster, and he sounds close. So anyway, I took over all the household chores, and Carter's job was just to go make money, pay the bills, and that's pretty much it. At the time, there was no, I don't believe there was any YouTube University going on. We still had flip phones, and yeah, you only had like, you know, those keys. Remember the keys on the phone where if you wanted to text somebody, it would be like you'd have to like, and it would be like number 1 on the phone would be ABC, and then so it's like if you want to text somebody, you actually had to know how to spell. So you'd be like 1 is B, and then 3 is E, and if you needed another letter there, you'd hit it twice. Remember that? How we'd have to text on those old flip phones when texting first started. So if Carter, who was never a mechanic, was never an amateur electrician, who was never an amateur plumber, and never a builder either. Like, the most he had ever done was he did help his parents on the addition they put onto their house. So Carter did make adobe bricks uh, because his parents have a traditional Adobe style house. And when they did the addition, the whole family pitched in on making Adobe bricks. Would Carter want to do that kind of construction today? I don't think so. Remember, this was a long, long, long time ago, when he was just a string bean of a kid. So we had to pay for everything back then. If the car broke, we had to send it to a mechanic. I could tell you what, in the 20 some odd years that we've been married, we've only had one new car. Brand new. All of the other cars have been used. And that car got jacked up from Walmart. I took it in to get its oil changed, and I don't know, like maybe 10 miles later, the whole car seized up, the transmission locked up. So did they drain my transmission fluid instead of the oil fluid? Did they? I don't know. We hired an attorney and they did replace our brand new transmission, but they replaced it with a used one from a junkyard because they said, ma'am, insurance is there to get you back to where you were, not to where you weren't. So in our practically brand new car that we thought we would have no troubles on, we got a scrapyard, junkyard transmission put in it with supposedly the same amount of miles. So it wasn't an easy life for Carter and I. I mean, when things would break, we would have to call in a mechanic. And houses are not easy, like HVAC systems and things like that. When those would break, even if YouTube was around, we still had to call in the HVAC guy because we're like, I don't know, So anyway, Carter has learned a lot over the years, and he has taken on a lot more responsibility. And you probably noticed that in our videos. I mean, a lot of people comment, Carter to the rescue. Carter did it again. Carter's amazing. You're lucky you have Carter. Every single one of you is correct on that. I am lucky I have Carter, and I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing today if it wasn't for Carter. So I feel completely blessed by having him in my life, and his willingness to learn and try, even if it's at the cost of failing. But what you don't see, because I'm not going to record everything I do. Why would I? I do all of the boring and mundane things. Carter, like I said, doesn't do laundry. He doesn't clean toilets. He doesn't clean the kitchen. He doesn't wash dishes. He doesn't cook dinner. He doesn't cook breakfast. He doesn't even cook lunch unless I tell him that, I'm eating leftover beef and broccoli for lunch. If you do not want that, you can make yourself a sandwich, which is fine. He's good with that. I go and run all the errands. I do all of the grocery shopping. I actually do all of his clothes shopping. And I go to check the mail at the post office. I literally do all of the mundane things. Am I capable of doing what Carter does? Probably not. I mean, and that's the truth. Some people just have this kind of ability to learn. You know what I mean? And I just don't, It's like I never did good at like geometry, like right angles and all that kind of stuff. It's like, Carter would have to give me a class on it, and I'd have to take notes and probably a video, and it would take me forever because I'm just really just not interested. Do you know where we are? We're here. We're in the Arroyo. That's where I came from, right there, that hill down. And I'm going to go back that way. I'm fairly certain I think the next road over this wash here is way down there. But I just want to go a little further up this hill. So I guess my question to you guys is, were you guys raised in a traditional kind of family household where, and this is probably going to be more angled to my older subscribers, only because the statistics, so or maybe they're not real statistics, I don't know. But I checked with Google, and I believe it said in 1965 to 68, 49% of all households had a stay-at-home wife, a stay-at-home mom. And by, I think it was I don't remember, it could be current day, 2024, 2025, that percentage is now 29% of households have a stay-at-home wife. I didn't Google stay-at-home parent because things have changed a lot over the course of the decades. It used to be very traditional where the husband would stay home or the wife would stay home. But now I know people who have, their wife works and these men are the ones who are like taking care of their kids, taking them to doctor's appointments, after school events, helping with homework, cooking dinners, cleaning the house, and they're doing all that because, well, their wife makes more money and the cost of daycare is outrageous, So that's another reason why I think I stayed home. I think because I would have been a minimum wage earner. So I stayed home because if I was working still at Farmers Insurance, my entire check would go towards the cost of daycare, which was ridiculous. Like, I'm working to have somebody else raise my children? Why would I do that? And now they're making it so, universal child care is out there so that everybody can get free child care. And people think, oh, that's such a great deal. Well, yeah, we want that. And not to be overly political, but ideally, I would think that it would be better to make it so that children don't have to go to daycare, so that they can be at home with mom or dad and be raised in the household until they're of an age to go to school. That's what I would think. So it's like, I don't know how to make that happen, but it's like maybe lower taxes, maybe lower gross receipts taxes, make the cost of living actually doable. Instead of let's raise more taxes so that we can make sure that every child can go to daycare for free just to keep you locked into that desk job. I don't know. That's the way I feel, but I have kind of a skeptical mind. You can drop your comments. Let me know what you think about that. But ideally, I think that at least one parent would like to be home with their kids. And that should be an option. And I guess it is, but anymore, the option is for the wealthy. Maybe. I mean, I did watch a video this morning about this gentleman who is an Amazon driver, and he is the sole breadwinner for his family of 5. He is the only one. And once again, it's like he made some extreme moves over his life they made as a family. So I'm not going to go any further here. I wanted to see what was at the top of this rise that I'm on right now. But as you can tell, these roads, they'll just keep on going. They just keep going. So come on, dogs, let's turn back. Okay, they all turn back. So I guess that guy, he said, well, we were renting an apartment and we got tired of paying the rent on the apartment. So he said he went to the bank and they qualified him on his Amazon salary or paycheck. It's not a salary to be an Amazon driver. That's what my son does. They qualified him on his Amazon paycheck to be to get a $250,000 house mortgage. And he was absolutely shocked. But he told his realtor, he said, I don't want a $250,000 home. I don't want to go back to paying that kind of monthly expense to live. He said, I want a $60,000 home. This video was just uploaded by that gentleman like 8 days ago. So it's not something from, 2001 or, earlier. It's a recent video. So he told his realtor, I want a $60,000 house. And the realtor found him a $60,000 house. And it was old, it was worn down, lime green, shag carpet, old paint, old appliances, old plumbing. But he said, I'll take it. I'll take it. And he did. And he said, to redo the kitchen, I spent $1,500. He said, I didn't go down to Lowe's and buy brand new stainless steel appliances. He said, I went to a discount appliance place and I bought old but working appliances. He said, and the floors that I replaced, he said, I just got remnants of laminate flooring. And he said, and anybody can put in laminate flooring. He said, it's just a jigsaw puzzle. And so he slowly started working on the house. He did have some plumbing skills also. So he was able to work on the plumbing. So it's a matter, and now he has a big house, and it's a big, nice house, not a big rundown dumpy house. And he just slowly worked on that house for, a few years as he could afford it on his Amazon delivery driver wages. So I think he mentioned, though, that at the time that he went and looked for, I don't remember actually. I think he said he was making $62,000 a year. That could have been with Amazon. I don't know. So, and they qualified him still for a $250,000 mortgage. That's high. That's really high. Like the mortgage that we have on the house that we're selling was $174,000 is what we bought the house for. And our mortgage was $1,400, which was high back then. I mean, we worked, it was hard on Carter to make ends meet with that house. But, he did, sort of. I mean, we struggled. You good? So I think that maybe people live way beyond their means nowadays, and they want to blame somebody besides themselves for their life problems while they're driving, $60,000 vehicles, living in houses that cost $2,000 a month. Everybody has the latest iPhone, and all, and they have all of the subscriptions, all of the the subscriptions for all of the channels and everything, you know? And it's like they live to impress their friends who are also living to impress them. Anyway, I got to wrap this video because I feel like I'm just, I don't know, like I have really no direction on this video. I always have so much on my mind, but I wanted to share with you guys. Why does my phone do that? It gets blurry. Anyway, I just wanted to share that with you, my thoughts on that. Come on. I don't know what you're staring at. And to let everybody know that on our channel, you will see Carter doing a lot. We are a partnership, and what he does is very important. And I do record it because we're an off-grid channel, right? We're not a stay-at-home wife channel. We're not a domestic engineer channel. We're an off-grid channel, but there's always another cog in the wheel that helps it continue to spin. And that's me. And I do feel like the things that I do, well, while they might not be as important as what Carter does, like keeping the lights on is seriously important, right? But they matter, you know, like the daily life, the functioning of life, it matters. So anyway, we're getting ready to fall upon living in our RV now for 2 months. And my next video is going to be about that. Carter and I are going to share with you the pros and the cons of living in a 1998 32-foot Jayco. And it'll be interesting if we can find any pros to living in a 1998 Jayco. And I'm wondering if our experience is like because of the 1998 Jayco, or if it is overall everybody's experience. Like maybe those newer RVs are fancy, you know, and people are like, oh, what you crying about? We don't have that problem. Anyway, that wraps this. And if you made it this far, thank you. Hit the like button, subscribe if you like this kind of content. You'll never know what's going to be shown on this channel. So anyway, thanks for joining. Sorry, I'm a hot mess, but it is what it is. Take care, and I'll see you on the next one.